And away we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Mitchell.
I'm Brett.
And this is Real World Recovery, your one-stop shop for nervous energy.
Mm-hmm.
And chock full of it.
Here we go. Jumping right in.
Yes, sir. 12 minutes on the timer. Jumping right in.
Nah, that's not real.
I know. It's a construct.
Yep. I started it at 12.
Did you really?
No, I didn't.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I know. That would have been great.
So it's been another week.
It's been
1 week since you. I can't remember the words to that song.
It's probably better that way. We'd probably get hit with copyrights.
Yeah, I mean it's entirely possible. I get copyright strikes all the time on my other channel.
I believe it.
And it's funny because it's one label in particular, and it kind of sucks because there's such a good label, and I'm like, why are you being like this?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I don't, and it's not like, so what they will do when you're doing a music stream on YouTube is, instead of like, they'll say partially blocked when you upload it, and then that part of the mix or whatever is just quiet,
dead air.
Yeah, and it's like,
mm-hmm. I learned that.
Okay.
I learned that when I first started doing gaming videos, because I would have
music on in the background,
music in my headphones, and I just was sharing just computer audio.
Sure.
And I was like, why is it all of a sudden just dead air? I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. So then I got wise and had two different audio sources, and I would share the game audio and not the music in my headphones, so I can
yeah, but people want to hear the music, and for me, I'm streaming mixing music, so this,
yeah, yours is different because it's
it doesn't ever happen with any genre besides organic, and like I said, it's really just one label. And should I call them out? It's Angie Deep. Knock it off. You're not that special.
Yeah. Well,
and it only gets struck in Europe.
Oh.
They're based out of Germany or the UK, maybe both, and so it only gets struck in Europe, but it's
weird,
still
man.
really annoying.
It's I mean it's all just algorithmic. It's not like they've got somebody watching everybody's YouTube channel either.
Right.
It's there's 4 people watching ever.
Yeah.
So
you know what I mean? Why?
Come on.
Why you gotta be like this?
Come on. You just potentially lost 4 customers is all that happened.
Well, and I wonder how far we would have to push it for them to be give us an MA warning on this channel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're already sometimes talking about a very touchy subject according to the internet, with dealing with recovery and drug use. But I don't know.
But yeah, it's come on. I'm more than likely what I'm doing is possibly turning somebody on to a song that they haven't heard before. If
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to music, that's the entire point, is sharing.
They're
art.
They're not coming here to pirate.
Well, and what's even more frustrating from a DJ perspective is I have purchased this music.
Right.
I own it.
Yeah.
I have bought it from Beatport. I have legitimately purchased it from the artist. Yep. Therefore, I'm supposed to be able to use it. You know what I mean? And this has been going on forever. You know what I mean? It goes back to the club days, if you played the wrong record and the record company decided that they didn't want that record being played at that club. Yeah. Well, you guys need to pay us to play that record, just like radio stations pay to play those records, you know? And it's come on, guys.
Yeah.
Do you really want us to go back to the Pirates Bay and uTorrent or microtorrent or whatever it was? Because I will.
That's
It's just getting
the push and pull of everything, man. It's the firmer the grip they try to have on all of it, and the masses on the internet are only going to allow that to happen so much before they're like, nah, no thanks, we'll figure it out another way. Like,
I am
like we allowed you to make money off of this because it was convenient, and you gave us the ability to use it in the way we wanted.
Yeah, but now they're not.
And so
at all.
We allowed you to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So we backed off of the piracy. Like, it wasn't because you shut down the piracy.
No, because you made the service better. You made it more convenient.
Right.
But now everything they're, in my YouTube algorithm that I have at home, at least once a day, one of the creators that I either follow or is trying to always pitch to me is like the case for piracy.
Yeah.
The case for piracy.
Yeah.
Like Apple's new stuff, the case for piracy.
Right.
And it's like, packaging, like capitalism is so late stage at this point that they have to break everything up and sell it individually and as a service because we already have everything we need.
Well, and
do you know what I mean?
And my experience with it is less so in the music realm, but more so in the gaming realm.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the way that people get their video games these days.
Oh yeah, no, you either have
Steam,
to be on Steam
Epic,
or PlayStation Store.
All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the end user license agreements now, and purchasing it is not actually owning it anymore. It's licensing. It's licensed to use it. And so when purchasing a video game does not equal ownership anymore, then
the backlash Nintendo is seeing for
there's no way to pirate a game then.
Sending the box.
By definition, you can't pirate it then.
Yeah.
If there's no way to own it, like, where does piracy happen then?
Right.
Like,
well, we're the ones being pirated.
Like,
they're the pirates.
If it's impossible for anybody
they're
to
looting
actually,
they're plundering our loot.
Like, if it's impossible to actually own the game, like, I am incapable of pirating it.
Mm.
Like, that's the argument now going around in the gaming world. Like, well, I have no way to actually own the game.
Yeah.
Like, so...
Well, and now that everything's always online, like, I mean, I play, Fortnite. So, like, if Epic just stops supporting that for whatever reason, which, they're trying to become the Oasis from Ready Player One, but, like, all that, everything that I have on there, all the money I've spent over the years, like, it's all just gone. You know what I mean? I have nothing to show for it. And it's kind of a sad thing. Somebody was on the internet the other day, of course they were, but they were saying, well, what happens, when Xbox Live goes down or PlayStation Network goes down? Like, I don't have any games on my machine that I can play offline. And I was thinking to myself, well, I still have a PS4 and I still have all my PS3 games. So, I mean, at least I got that going for me. But, like, it's true. Like, Nintendo's getting a bunch of crap because, they're coming out with the Switch 2 or whatever. Like, great marketing, Nintendo. Come on, you can do better. Mm-hmm. But, like, they're selling the box, but in the box is just the code to download the game from the Nintendo store. And it's like, that's one thing Nintendo has always had on all these other manufacturers is they stayed true to having a cartridge.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people mad about that.
Yeah.
Because, like, then it's the same thing. You don't own it.
Right.
And as soon as you don't own it, if they decide that they don't want you to play it without paying a monthly subscription, then you don't get to play it anymore without the monthly subscription.
Yep.
And it's just like, man.
Or they decide to up the cost or
just not maintain the game anymore. I mean, how many online games have gone the way of the dodo because, like, the player base kind of shrank and they were like, man, it costs more to run these servers than it does.
Or it's sat in early access for 10 years and, whatever. Like,
Fortnite saved the world.
But, it happens all the time, It never gets out of early access. There just isn't the support for it. They, for whatever reason.
Makes all that money on Battle Royale, and they still haven't finished Save the World after, like, I think they, like, first... like showed it in like 2013 or 2014 at like that big conference, the E4, is that what it is? E3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it still isn't finished.
Yeah.
And it probably never will be. I still enjoy playing it, but
yeah, there are some game developers out there, and I'm sure that it's true in the music world and stuff like that, but they're the exception to the rule, not the norm, and that are trying to switch that paradigm, but who knows, but
I mean, I get that it's cheaper to just like have us download it, but like have us be able to have it downloaded onto our hard drive and have so we can play it offline,
right?
And that's really what it comes down to.
And that's what I mean. There are some that
well, Nintendo's trying to claim that that's what they're doing, but
right. And there are still some that are trying to stay true to that. And like I've still got a number of games that are playable offline, and I have a local copy. And
is that new one that you've been playing? Is that?
Yep.
That's local.
Yeah, yeah. It runs locally. It just saves to the cloud. So like the save game will be playable. Like if I wanted to install it on another machine,
so it will be the cloud and on your
right. So like if I wanted to load it on another machine, my saved game, I can just restore my saved game to another machine. Nice. Yeah. Like that's the only part that's out in the ether is all the saved information. Sure. So like my save game lives everywhere, basically. Mm-hmm. And then it pulls updates and stuff like that from Steam,
wherever it goes. Yeah,
but and then most of your games are like have some sort of multiplayer component or, some sort of like live component to it.
I mean, it's where we've become social as a species, at least in the United States, like, and people our age and younger.
Yeah.
Is, online gaming, because like, man, the world sucks. And it doesn't suck so bad when you're playing the game, and especially if you're playing with friends, you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't feel like you're being antisocial when you're in the headset with people every night, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like isolation.
Yeah, that's true. To an extent, I think. And I did feel that way for a while, but then once I like got away from that and actually like started reconnecting with people I knew in person and did that less, like I realized like also how antisocial I was being,
sure.
by doing that instead. So like there's a trade-off, right? Which, that's the nature of it.
Literally everything.
Yeah. and so, it's got its place. I don't want to take anything away from it. It definitely was helpful for me in a lot of ways through a lot of things. And I've got a lot of good friends that I've made over the years playing online games. So like it, I don't want to take anything away from it at all, but
sure.
But if that were my only form of being social, I think it would.
Right. I mean, it's not my only form of socialization, but like,
and I'm not saying it is, but I think that would not be as healthy for me as getting out and being in the real world as well. But yeah, it is one of those things that I think kind of got overexploited with all of that, with all of the online services. But yeah, music and gaming, I think specifically,
it's been pushed so far.
Yeah.
Well, and TV service, like, you know, like like we went from having cable, which was expensive and it kind of sucked, commercials all the time, to like, okay, you have Netflix, and then now you have Netflix and Hulu. Now you have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and you know, Apple TV and all these, like, so now you, instead of having cable, which you still have because you need to have the internet, you have all of these individual services that all cost $15 a month if you don't want to watch commercials. And so you actually have more money invested into less service than you did when you were paying for cable.
Yeah.
You know, and you can kind of get it sans commercials. Like, I pay for YouTube Premium because I'm not trying to watch a commercial every 7 minutes of my life. And, you know, I feel like that's a good investment, but I don't have any other streaming service because I'm not going to pay the amount of money that it costs to keep it ad free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think...
And I don't watch TV.
I think with the streaming services, that kind of was a natural progression because it followed the progression of the technology itself. Like,
right.
Like TV, before cable, TV, the only option was over the air because it was radio frequency.
Oh, I remember.
But like,
I was there, man.
Then when TV was able to be delivered over coax, then you had cable TV, so you had so many more channels available over cable, and then satellite. We figured out how to have, you know,
remember when everybody
geosynchronous orbit,
when everybody had Dish, but then it would storm and nobody had TV.
Right. So then that technology evolved, and then you know, once internet was fast enough,
which is like,
but like
once it was fast
we're
enough.
skipping a step in between that, which was Netflix was originally you get mailed DVDs.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that as well.
And so, you know, like, so that was the intermediate
Remember when
step.
Netflix went to Blockbuster and was like, hey, we really think that you guys should merge with us because we have this really like good model and we think that we could make a lot of money this way. And Blockbuster was like, people are never gonna people are never gonna order DVDs through the mail or watch things on the...
They're gonna keep coming to our store.
How'd that work out, Blockbuster?
We're Blockbuster. We got nothing to worry about.
I hear there's still one left.
Alaska, I think it was, wasn't it?
I thought it was California.
I don't know, but John Oliver, I think, did an episode about it. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, they're keeping it open as like a sideshow.
Yeah.
This is a giant monument to capitalistic failure.
Knowing John Oliver, he probably bought it just to like...
I mean, probably.
just to keep
probably
it alive.
Did.
But yeah, so like that, you know, like that I can kind of more understand because it just kind of followed technology's capabilities for so long, and then it got to a point where like cable went away, not so much because it wasn't providing the service that people wanted. Like there's still people that prefer the cable model. Yeah. You know, like...
Well, my dad and stepmom, like, they have, like, the fantastic on-demand package with commercial-free, and so, like, you know, they still run it that way.
Yeah, and like, the cable providers, like, the cable TV providers have modified their offerings and stuff like that to try to keep up.
To make it more on-demand.
And to incorporate more of those streaming services and stuff. Like, you know...
They're not
like,
stupid.
Right. And they know that they're able to provide the internet for most people.
Yeah. Well, and they know they've got the lock on the ISP.
And as cell phone internet has evolved and gotten faster, cable providers know that they're not the only game in town for fast enough internet to do home internet.
Truth.
So, and a lot of your cell phone providers are bundling streaming service subscriptions with their home internet now and things like that. And so like it's that kind of has been just an ongoing like evolution of what can the technology actually provide. And then all of those different streaming services, it's been just a rush to who can secure the content.
Right.
And that's been really the crux of the issue, was like everybody was like, we're going to have our own streaming service rather than
licensing our content to another company.
Right.
Which is how they probably should have done it.
The smart model was what HBO did a long time ago with it, like the studios did a long time ago, was they were just like, we're going to make the shows. And then if you want to air our shows, pay us.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
Like, we'll allow one place to have first dibs, and then when the new season comes out, we'll let other places have the first season.
Yeah.
You know, and do it that way. Like, and it worked. And now what we're seeing is now that the technology has caught up to the point where
you see people going back to cable,
or they're like realizing like, oh, well, all of these things together, are like
way more expensive,
about the same as it cost back when we had, like, they're kind of realizing
more expensive.
Oh,
in a lot of cases,
I can just bundle all this back together and head back. And so you're just kind of going full circle back, because
I mean, you need to be entertained, or you're gonna, wither away and die.
The technology has surpassed what the medium can evolve into.
Sure.
Like, there's not some higher bandwidth requirement of, it's not like there's 32K TV quality with, I
mean, even 4K, why do you need that?
I mean, really, like, that's pretty much peak resolution for what our eyes can deal with anyway.
And even then, like, I remember, my dad got this giant 4K TV when they first came out, and the thing makes me motion sick. Like, I can't even watch it. It's like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I run a very, now I've got an old LCD, not LCD, an LCD, 1080p, and like, that's fine, man. I don't need more than that.
Yeah. I mean, if
when you're gaming, there's something to be said about playing Fortnite in 4K. I have,
there's like ideal screen size and color depth and things like that.
Yeah.
For certain resolutions. If you go bigger than a certain screen size, it's pointless.
Yeah, to have it 14, or like 4K.
Yeah, so like
1440 is 4K, isn't it?
No, 1440 is 2K.
2K. Okay. Learning stuff with Brett and Mitchell.
Yep.
Having all this classwork all the time, like, I can't play with my edits the way I could when I wasn't in school.
Yep.
Like, I was learning so much about Kdenlive, and it was like so much fun to like learn and mess with it and make shorts and do weird stuff. But it's like, now it's like I'm so like time crunched, it feels like, all the time, where it's like to take that 3 hours and do the edit as fast as I can, basically.
Yep.
And it's like,
and I know you actually enjoy it a lot more than I do.
Oh man,
like,
I do love it. I just don't have time.
Yep.
So I like sit there, like last week's, like I got it done in like a little under 3 hours, which is about average for an hour of edit. To edit an hour, it takes about 1 minute or 3 minutes for every 1 minute of video to edit it well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I walked away from last week's like, well, it's done.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I wanted to do so much more. Like the little thought police thing, like that right there, it takes 10 minutes of your life.
Yep.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
I want to do more fun memey things with it, and I've learned how to do fun memey things with the software. But in order to create what I want to create out of what we're doing, like I need 5 hours,
Right.
Like I need 5 hours to do it, and I just don't have 5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could spend less time staring off into space, but I don't think that I can actually.
Yeah.
I think that I need that time. I think
Yeah.
I think I need that wall staring time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wall staring time, for those of you who don't know me, is what I call when you are not obligated to do anything for a few moments or hours, and instead of being productive, you like literally just kind of stare off into space at the wall, and that's about it. It's kind of like meditating, but like when you're burned out.
So how did you come up with that name?
Because I was staring at the wall.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, I should send you. You have Discord, like that, the GIF.
I do.
The GIF of the dude like talking to the wall.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yes.
And that's another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to take I have clips of us, you and I, different clips that I have saved and set aside to turn into GIFs for our Discord.
Yeah.
I've not done that because every time I would have a moment to do that, I'm like, I want to stare at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. Life is hard. It's hard. It's fucking hard.
It'll be all right.
My favorite part is that it entertains us.
Yeah.
And
That's what it's all about.
my kids will have something that they can look back on when I'm gone and be like, that's my old man being weird on YouTube.
That fucking weirdo.
Yeah, well. If I don't do it, who will, Brett?
I don't know. Probably nobody.
And that's a problem.
That's the reason we're doing this, is I couldn't find anybody else doing it. I was like, well, I guess it's on us.
Yeah.
There's nobody else out there being real. There's just a bunch of doctors talking about
so much fluff.
Yeah, a bunch of doctors talking about doctor mumbo jumbo about all the crap that happens. Like, cool, thanks, but like, can we like?
Yeah, talk about what it's like to have every single penny taken out of your bank account.
Yeah, can we like have some real life experience, please?
I was talking about the meeting to my mom last night, and she was like, I'm really proud of you for the way you've handled all this. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, some years ago, you would have like lost your shit. You probably would be drinking again already. And I'm like,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I didn't, did I? Nope. I went and chaired my meeting and I talked about it.
Yeah.
And it's the thought to drink didn't come across my mind.
You're right.
You know what I mean? That was never an option in my head as to what needs to be done about this situation. It was never like, okay, like let's get messed up.
Right.
It was like, all right, you feel rage right now. It's okay to feel rage. This kind of moment is enraging.
Yes.
Stifle your rage and go to class because you have to go to class because class is paid for. And since it's already paid for, you should probably go to class.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this class is already paid for. That's something that you can look as a positive. Mm-hmm. You do not owe any money to go to this class.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, okay, talk about it with one of your classmates. Hey, I know this guy who is friends with my dad, he's an educator here. Okay, like let's hook you up with him, and so get hooked up. And then it's like, well, what do you think I should do? Well, let me introduce you to all these people who might be able to help you. And then it's, instead of being like, what am I going to do? It's like, okay, this is what can be done.
Right. I've got some options.
You know what I mean? And, go down to financial aid. Okay, yeah, fill out this form, this form, this form.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, we'll see what we can do. Yeah. And the thing about it is I'm already approved for more money. I know that I am because the Sally Mae keeps sending me an email every 4 days that I'm approved for more money.
Yeah.
And so it's like I don't have to resubmit anything for that. I can literally just take that as long as the school approves it. So I mean, I'm not screwed. I'm just screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
the real decision is like, which route do you take? You know,
well, I'm gonna take enough that the lien gets satisfied, and then I'm going to continue to live my life the way I've been living it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back to
right, but like that, I guess that's what I mean.
And I'm gonna go back to the courts and be like, "Hey, man, what gives? You know what I'm doing."
Right.
I've been very clear about the situation. Right. Like, why are you behaving?
Why now? And
why did you decide like
what made you decide?
I mean, I'm sure I hit like a min-max where it's like, this is like, okay, we're going to check and see if he's got anything. And if he does, we're going to take it.
Yeah.
And really what it is they're checking probably for my taxes, which, you know, I'm not getting any. So since I'm not getting any taxes back.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
It is what it is. And it's one of those things where, you know, after meditating on it a bit more this morning, you know, now that's paid off. I don't have to think about it for another 2 years or however long it takes to accrue it back to the point where they take all my shit again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's done.
Yep.
It was funny to me. A lot of people were like, well, you should fight it. And I'm like, has anybody, you try fighting any state or the federal government to get some money that they already took out of your account back.
Yeah, they don't.
Good luck.
They don't like to give it back.
Even with a lawyer.
Yeah.
And even if you do deserve it back, they're going to hold on to it and drag it out for as long as possible so they can earn interest on it.
Well, anything in, you know, government, the grind slowly.
Yeah.
You know, all of that. It is a very large moving ship that, you know, does not turn quickly.
I mean, I don't know, the federal government's flipping pretty quick, but
I mean, you know, the vehicle of bureaucracy moves very slowly.
It does. Well, and for good reason.
Right.
Ideally, good reason.
But I mean, by design, so that it can't be, you know, manipulated for, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's the way it's set up, is so that it does have to pass through, you know, all of those, you know.
Yeah, I do.
Checks and stamps of, you know, yes, I checked this. Yes, I checked, you know, make sure things are checked and double checked and verified. And
well, you know,
all of that.
I'm going to go back to like the way I handled it. I think all of the work that I've done with REBT is really what kind of, you know, saved the day yesterday, because like after the initial flashpoint of being like level 8 mad.
Yeah.
You know,
rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. You know, I didn't burn it down. I didn't, you know, I stepped back and I said, okay, well, what is my belief about this situation? Like, where is it? What can actually be done? Is being mad about it serving me?
Right.
And, you know, the answer to that is no. I mean, even though I'm still a little mad, but it is like to sit and mope about it.
Right. Right. And that's, I think the real like pivot point is does this advance any solution?
Right. Well, and it's funny though, after I talked to financial aid yesterday, I got all those forms filled out. I had a bunch of time until the meeting and I absolutely moped.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and
but you'd already like done the things.
Yeah. I'm like, this is what can be done. You know, I immediately called some people who want me to do some work for them. I'm like, hey, I need to start sooner than the end of the school year. So, you know, like, let's get this ball rolling. Maybe have to pay me in cash for a few weeks. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, I mean, what else is there to do?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I kind of woke up this morning, and after like meditating on it a bit, I was still kind of in this salty mood, and I'm like, what do you need to get your homework done.
Yep.
Like that's number one on the priority list on a Friday is doing your homework and making sure that all your homework is done. And it's what's on your priority list for Saturday, and it's what's on your priority list for Sunday. So until you've got your homework done, you don't have time to mope.
Yeah.
I have time for this podcast, though. Well, I try to follow that rule that you told me about when we were working together, where it's like you need to get up and walk away every hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yep.
And I hadn't got up and walked away in 3 when I texted you to see if you're home yet. So I was past the point of like.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I know how to do this math, and I'm getting these questions wrong. So either I'm rushing through it, or I'm not paying enough attention, or all of the above, and I just need to walk away for like a couple hours. There's like an hour left of it. Like, it'll be fine. It's not due until Monday evening, but like it needs to get done, and then I have to do like the exam for psychology and all that. But
yeah, man, that was like one of the best things I ever learned. Somebody long time ago taught me that, and it was like one of the best like productivity hacks I ever got taught was like,
oh man, it makes such a difference.
Yeah,
I try really
go hard for like 90 minutes and just get up, like move around for 5-10 minutes, like whatever it, just like get up.
Well, I'm always AFK in that stupid B game, so like I'll get up from my desk and then like go and like run all the little like mini stuff that you can do that's all set on timers, and then I'll do that for like 20 minutes, and then I'll go back and work on homework some more. And that's been pretty effective. Yeah. And today it was just like I don't know what like grind mindset or whatever was going on with me, but like I realized like is sometimes like when I'm doing math, like you get into a groove with it, and so you just kind of keep going.
Yeah, the that weird like
you get like this
that weird like tunnel like where like you feel like you're zoomed in but also zoomed out, like, and it's just like
well, and this is I'm graphing quadratics and logs, so it's
Yep. Yeah.
It's joyous.
Yep.
I like how quick my math professor snapped back though, and I'm like, when are we ever going to use this in real life? And he's like, I'm going to show you, and then immediately like busts out this credit card data stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, what's the min max on this purchasing power? I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm not going to do this math. I'm going to buy whatever I want on my credit card and then regret it. That's how credit cards work. Don't you know? God. Anyway, but like there was a few weeks back. There was one where we were doing the section in class, and we got to the end of class, and the section was just like there was no story problems in the book, which is an indication that they don't know that you'll ever use it again, right? There's no application to business. There's no application to farming. There's no, you know what I mean? And I'm like, so what do we use this for in real life? Because it's like something that we as a class have kind of been doing to him for the whole semester. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, you'll use it in calculus. And I'm like, I don't plan on taking calculus. He's like, well, then you probably won't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. I'm at an age where I don't have more room for nonsense. Settled in at an appropriate level of nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what sucks is all of it makes sense. It's just remembering what order to do things in. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be grateful when I'm done with college algebra over the summer and I can kiss algebra goodbye.
Yep, I believe that
for all of eternity. Fun fact: I get to double dip by taking statistics for sociology, because it counts both as one of my humanities credits and it counts as my final math credit.
Nice.
I know, right?
When I went back to school, I was very grateful that I remembered enough math to test out of all of the math classes that I had to take.
Well, I mean, I purposely bombed math because I was going to have to take math credits regardless.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get placed into calculus.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Part of mine was not gonna ever have to be calculus, so I was like,
Yeah. Well,
I was grateful that I remembered enough to get through because like looking at what like the entire syllabus was going to be, or what, not syllabus, but like the entire like set of like classes that would have been required. I don't whatever
degree requirements.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like literally like all of the coursework.
Yeah.
You know, like none of it would have ever required calculus.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay.
Mine doesn't, but like there's only so much math you can take outside of that at a certain point in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was like, so, and I asked him, I was like, so in theory, I could test out of all of the math, right? They're like, yes.
I mean, that's, yeah. Well, and that's just it. I guess I could have probably tested for credits out of math, but I would not have. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's been 20-ish years since I took that.
Yeah, I was grateful that I remembered enough to make it through the requirements. So,
well, you were a lot younger too. How old were you when you did that?
It was 2009, 2010, something like that when I went back. So I was like 30.
I still submit to you that it would have been easier to do at 30 than it is.
Oh, it 100% was.
It
100% was.
So weird to say mid 40s.
I would not probably be able to now. If I had to try now, I don't know that I would be able to.
Yeah.
It was a lot fresher in my brain then.
Yeah. It's interesting because, you know, it's like I'm in the whatever the advanced algebra, and it's like, okay, it's all stuff I've done before, so it's kind of like a refresher, just reminding like the operation of doing it,
but also kind of annoying because it's like, why don't I remember?
Like, yeah, why can't I remember how to do this?
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, the answer is real simple. You haven't used it in 25 years, bud. Like, you never had to use it again. So your brain was like, oh, well, we don't need that ish.
It's because the last time you learned this, your brain was still developing.
I mean, the last time I probably sat in a calculus class, I was probably high on acid.
Right. And then
like, not even lying.
And then you haven't used it since. And so, like, that, it's basically in, you know, legacy storage somewhere in the archives. Like, just rotting away.
Yeah, it's on that old server rack that you know, you still has all those like those spinny disk drives in it.
Yeah, like somebody's like, oh, that thing's still running.
Yeah. I'm grateful that I'm gonna get a little break here in another few weeks.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. I mean, it's probably gonna be balls to the wall remodeling a bathroom, but.
Well,
it's a change of pace. It will not require me coming home and doing homework. It will require me showing up and laying tile, which is different.
Yeah. Well, you know, you'll likely be grateful that you have been exercising.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been since I went to the hospital,
but
really.
But
yeah, I'm in better shape than I was a year ago. That's for damn sure.
You know.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like the amount of time, like I haven't made time, but like I'm at the point in burnout where it's like the time I would have to go to the gym, again, I'm just staring at a wall, not thinking about anything. And it really sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where, you know, when people like us, like you recognize the lack of productivity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so like it starts to get into a little feedback loop where it's like, if you don't do this, you're gonna, and then you start giving yourself shit about it, and it's like, dude, like you're doing the best you can right now, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm still stretching.
Yeah.
Because I would die if I didn't stretch, but like I haven't lifted in 2.5 months, and I need to lift, probably. I am in weightlifting this fall. It's my phys ed credit.
But I think that, like, this all kind of goes to, like, what I was talking about last night a little bit is, like, you know, just kind of just trusting that, like, doing that next right thing is gonna work out, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like I didn't ever look at that initial job interview as like, this is where I was going to end up today.
Right.
You know, like, I didn't ever like think that like volunteering was going to actually lead to as long of a volunteering run as it did.
Well,
that volunteering there was going to end up being like, you and I were going to meet. We were going to end up doing this podcast.
well,
you know, like all
well,
of the
and
things.
if I hadn't volunteered with Oxford House, I would have never ended up working there.
Right.
So,
So, like,
I mean,
like-
so both of us ended up here because of volunteer work. By
Yeah.
the way, service work is how we ended up friends.
yeah. And that is just kind of what I wanted to kind of get at last night was like, all I knew was that like the thing in front of me was like just the thing I can do right now is this thing in front of me. This is what I can do. Like, if I just make the right choice in this moment and just do this thing, you know, and just believe that by continuing to just make the right choice right now and the thing that I have control over, and, you know, be ready for the opportunity when it presents itself to make the next right choice again and keep doing that. Like, in between opportunities, continue to learn, continue to like figure out how I can improve, what, you know, other things I, you know, can start to like prep and get ready and that kind of stuff, and like chip away at and all of that kind of stuff. That gets me in a better position for that next opportunity. And eventually I got myself into a better place. And, you know, I think that, and it wasn't always just straight up, like, shit's happened. Like, you know, there've been fucking side steps and fucking steps back and all sorts of shit. But like, for the most part, like, things improve, you know, and, you know, there's always shit you got to deal with. But I think that, you know, it's just, that's the kind of like mentality that we start to figure out, you know, is like, yeah, we're going to get pissed off at shit. Like, we're still the same, like, people that have feelings. Like, we still have reactions to stuff. Like, you know, things still hurt our feelings. We're still, like, upset, frustrated, disappointed, all of those things.
Yeah.
It's just, we don't dwell. We don't let it completely ruin our fucking, like, rest of our lives. You know, we don't.
Well, a little bit, but yeah, no, I know.
You know, yeah, of course. Like, not, but maybe instead of for a month, it's for the rest of the night.
Right. It's for a few days. It's
You
for a few
know,
days,
like,
and it doesn't become
the timeline's
obsessive.
greatly shortened.
Yeah.
And instead we use it as a pivot, and we use it to kind of be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like for my recent situation, it is one of those moments where you're like, oh, yep, there it is. That's the other shoe. It finally dropped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you were doing too good, man. You were too comfortable. You were doing too much good stuff. Here you go. Here's some adversity. How will you overcome this?
Yeah. You know,
and then I'm like, you know, thanks God.
Well, you know, it's like
just another. You know, I don't believe in God.
Just another opportunity to figure out like what we're made of, you know, and what we can fucking deal with and get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another opportunity to see how far I can push my available credit with my credit score.
Well, you know,
I mean, and that's what it is.
Yeah, part of the fun of this journey is like figuring it out, you know. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. I do think that you are handling it exceptionally well, like, because I'd be frustrated too.
Yeah, I mean. But if I don't joke about it, I'll die.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You know, sense of humor, it definitely helps.
You know, it is what it is.
It is.
I mean, and that's that saying that sounds, you know, it sounds both dismissive, but it also sounds like resigning. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I like
you're
to think
resigning
of it
as its fate. But,
I like to think of it as accepting.
Yeah, I mean, it is because like
it is this way.
Again, yeah, there's literally zero I can do about it at all.
Yeah, well, you can't go back and change anything about it.
I mean, no, it's done.
Yeah, it is.
That is gone, and
it is.
It is definitely is. And so, you know, like I said, look on the bright side. That debt is paid.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know, was it borrowing from Peter to pay Paul? Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. But you know.
But yeah, at least it didn't just.
Thankfully, Peter will hopefully have a little more money for me.
At least it didn't just vanish. At least it did.
Yeah. It wasn't.
It
wasn't like I got my account hacked and it's just poof. Like,
right.
Gone,
so like,
gone
yes,
I
think that's a great way to look at it. Is like, at least it wasn't just poof.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, but
right. But like, it went somewhere,
right?
And
it wasn't like it was sleight of hand and not actual magic.
It served a purpose.
Yeah.
It got moved somewhere. It's just no longer accessible
to me anyway.
Right. Right. Like you no longer have access, but it did pay off something.
It did.
It
did.
So there is some.
I would have liked to have paid that off a different way, but you know, or maybe had some warning, like, hey, can we work something out?
Yeah.
Not this. Hey, we couldn't help but notice that you got like $6,500 in the bank. We're gonna need that.
Yeah, not finding out after the fact.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's kind of a weird thing to wake up to, especially when I had budgeted and planned out so well for like all of everything getting paid appropriately. Man, because you know how like as loose as I am with money, I am exceptionally well prepared for not having any.
Yeah,
and I mean, again, thank God I hoarded a little bit of cash.
Yeah,
you know, but it's not a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because like one of my initial thoughts was like, oh, I have that 401k. Is this going to be having to cash out another 401k? Because it'll be like the third one I've cashed out in my lifetime. You know what I mean? But I could hear your voice in my head, like, Mitchell, that's not part of your 10-year plan. And then I'm like, Brett, I don't have a 10-year plan. You're like, yes, but that is not part of your 10-year plan. It's not important. The rule of thirds, Mitchell. The rule of thirds. This is only a seventh. What are you doing? I have no idea what any of that means, but I'm sure it's something he said to me before. I don't know, man. Because yeah, you have that you're like, oh man, that's like literally everything, and you're like, what do I do? Oh, I know where I have some money. So that's like one of the first.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is an instant gratification solution.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But no, the only place that should go is into a more secure IRA or into Chinese bonds. I'm right.
No.
Okay. Well, okay.
No. Not recommended.
No? You think they're not good for their debt?
Oh, that's not what that's not why.
Oh, yeah, well. Okay. Fair enough. I think I see what you're laying down.
There's better investment vehicles.
Yep. That's for Friday's podcast.
I haven't been able to do one of those since I started working on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
So
something that I really appreciate about college is that apparently people don't go to college on Fridays. Yeah, like there's not been a single class that I could take on a Friday. And like even over summer where it's all shortened and condensed, I have class Monday through Thursday, but not Friday. And then yeah,
must
so like
best be for staff to do all the stuff, because I definitely work on Fridays.
Yeah, you sure do. I sure do not. I do homework on Fridays.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty, I'm pretty excited for fall. Summer is going to be brutal. It's going to be really brutal, but I'm going to get some classes that I really am not interested in out of the way on a shortened, condensed, brutal timeline, but a quick, brutal. If it's something that you are not interested in taking at all, and you have to satisfy the degree requirement, then why not take it in a condensed, brutal sort of fashion so it's over quicker? That's kind of how I'm looking at it, because somebody was like, why the hell would you take college algebra over the summer, dude? You're gonna like have an exam like every week. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
perfect,
good.
I've been doing the same thing at 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday I take an exam. Yeah, let's get it done with.
Yeah, let's run it.
I mean, like fall, man, I'm gonna love fall. I get to take that statistics class for sociology, which is cool. Like I'm going to learn how to do studies, basically. That's the introduction to how you
Will you report back and let me know if it's true? That's I heard 72% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
Yeah, I heard it was only 14, but
well, somewhere in between, I think.
Probably.
But you could report back and let us know.
Yeah. Interesting. I wish I knew that entire, because I'm like playing back that episode of The Simpsons in my head, and I can't remember the entire dialogue for that.
I don't remember it either.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to cut it in right here. So I get to take art, but like I have to take drawing before painting, which is kind of lame, but to spend 3 hours in art 2 days a week, cool. And then I will have Spanish too, which I'm actually kind of excited about. Spanish, if it's the same group of people, it's going to be fantastic. Even if it's not, it's tangent. So this kid, he's like one of those young dudes who probably like watches Andrew Tate and can't figure out why he can't get a girlfriend. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so he was talking, he does ultimate frisbee, which cool, good for him.
Perfect.
That's exciting.
Yep. I can get down with
but
that.
like he's like, well, I'm not a professional player or anything, and I just like straight deadpan, and I went, well, that's obvious. And like 3 other people in the class were like and I'm like, I'm glad somebody got it. Jesus, because it like went whoop. right over his head. But this one dude was like, oh. I almost self high-fived. I was almost like, got him. He didn't even know what I did. The girl next to me was like, I cannot believe. And I'm like, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
may as well be the cool old guy.
Yeah.
It's so weird being the cool old guy.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, at least I'm not like old.
I mean, yeah.
I was watching back one of my streams, and I wasn't aware that I have these, the old crow's feet.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, of course you do. You're 42 years old, almost 43. Like, why wouldn't you? But it's like something that you don't notice about yourself because you're never making that face in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, God damn, man. I know. It's just strange. I guess, it goes back to having that thought where one day you were going to feel different, but then you never get to that day. You know what I mean? You're just continuing on. But anyway, I get to take weightlifting. Mm-hmm. And then I have to take English too. But I think that will be fine.
I know. Am I taking English? I think I'm taking, I'm taking, it's a fancy literature class.
I can't remember what it is. Science fiction literature, maybe? Something that's more exciting than just taking lit. Something that seems more appealing to me anyway. And that counts as an English credit. I don't have to take English too.
Perfect.
I know. I'm taking speech over the summer as well. Because I don't want to take that either.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's good. I have like my entire next year of my life planned out around this. So, but I should be able to have my associates by this time next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
like in a year and a half, get my 2-year.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty baller, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
I don't know that I'm going to go over the summers when I transfer to university.
Yeah, I would say probably
Probably don't do that.
Yeah, probably dial it back a bit because I imagine that it'll...
There's a dog shitting right behind your face. Like literally and actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the neighbors. They do.
From my perspective, it looked like the dog was pooping on your head.
Cool.
I'm sorry. Go on. You were saying?
No, I mean, I imagine that the coursework itself will ramp up as well.
Oh yeah.
So
without a doubt,
having the summers to basically be okay, reset,
mm-hmm.
And then get back to it.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense than sprint all the way to the finish for several years. Sure, through the get to associates and then get into the proper university, sure. But
well, I mean, I think from when we stopped working at our last job, what was that, late October?
End of November.
Yeah, so I mean, the transition from that job into school was only 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have the opportunity to put myself in a position to go to fall classes last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't in that position. Fun fact, that girl who sat across from me in the cubicle when I was in the call center, who was always playing Nintendo Switch all day on Sundays, I keep seeing her around school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty weird. So when she fucked off out of there, she's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Nice.
I know, right?
One of the people who was on the team before you started now delivers pizzas for Domino's. Yeah.
Probably just as lucrative if you were Brad level good at that job.
Yeah, probably. So,
man, they ruined a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe it's are the girls are still doing that, right?
No idea.
Oh, you haven't heard from him?
No idea.
I thought you'd talk to Kaylee at some point.
No idea. But
Oh, well.
yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, man.
Now we're both at Madison College.
Yeah.
You're getting paid and I'm paying.
Yeah.
Both of us are paying with our lives. But you got to do something with it, right?
Yeah, man.
Some dude in one of my classes was like, why would you do this at your age? And I'm like, what else am I doing? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was a painter because I ended up being a painter. I didn't say, oh, I'm going to be a painter someday. I had a job at Sherwin-Williams and some painter came along and offered me a lot of money under the table to paint. Yeah. And then I started doing that. And then I lost my job at Sherwin-Williams due to a very irresponsible decision. And I kept painting because it was easy and I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And I could start my own company. And so it snowballed into this thing where all of a sudden I'm remodeling people's houses. And then I got the opportunity with COVID to reflect on all that and realize that it wasn't serving any purpose to me besides to pay my bills. And I hated it and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to manage people. I didn't want to I love the freedom of getting up and going to do stuff whenever you feel like it. But I don't,
Yeah.
There's no drive. There's the novelty of getting done with something and it being beautiful is gone. Because for a long time, what kept me in it was you finish painting a house, especially an exterior, you get a nice one where it's got 4 or 5 colors and it turns out beautiful. And you had this piece of crap Queen Anne house that was falling apart and you fixed it all up and you made it a very beautiful thing. It's very rewarding when, you make 40 grand to do that. But that's not every project.
Right.
A lot of it is painting apartments like this, going white over white. Well, dirt over white over dirt. And it's just this painting apartments it paid my bills for a long time.
Yep.
And it made me a lot of money. But it was soul crushing work to paint an apartment every day of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's just okay, I could go back and do that. I could put all the effort into getting badged at hospitals again. I have the experience on my resume to do remodeling in commercial settings. But again, I don't want to remodel that. I don't want to deal with construction bosses who don't know what they're doing. I don't want to deal with general contractors who really literally only care about saving every penny they can so they can buy the newest Ford F-150 that just came out. I sure as hell don't want to listen to Sean Hannity all day while I'm at work.
Right.
So it's just not me anymore. And in retrospect, I don't know that it ever was.
Right.
Do you know? And so that's why you go back to school, because you find something that you're passionate about, and in order to get paid enough money to survive, you need the letters. So yay, community college in my 40s.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I honestly love it there though.
Yeah. I'm strongly considering doing a similar thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Down in the old Carolinas.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Probably. But it'll be, honestly, I think it's gonna be a pivot out of tech. I think it's gonna be finance.
I mean, you do love those numbers.
I do. I really do.
And you love spreadsheets.
Man, the more I am active in the markets and stuff, it's fascinating.
Well, I mean, I see how you are when you talk about it. So
I like it. I really like it. So, and it's not even, it's really got nothing to do with the income potential. It's just, it
fascinates you.
Yeah. It really all of the nuance, all of the puzzles, it's just it's a constant puzzle to solve, and it's not a straightforward like 1 + 1 = 2. There's so many factors and so much going on. I love it. So it's like,
I mean, even right now, the just joy and elation beaming off of your body.
Yeah,
your body language, the look on your face, everything about it.
It's fun, man. I like it. So.
I mean, why not?
And,
again, though, if you want people to trust you with their money, you need those letters.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I think also being able to show that, it can be done as well. And that's part of why I'm just doing it, as like just knowing the way it works and being able to show results is far better than being able to say I went to school for it.
Sure.
Like, I think, a perfect example of that is Warren Buffett. Like, he's just a guy who kicks ass at it. He didn't spend a shitload of time sitting in classrooms. He's literally just like, I just am good at it. Like, believe me or don't, but here's the proof.
Yeah.
Like,
he's got an awful lot of proof too.
Yeah. So, but he's also one of those guys that started young, but like most of his wealth and most of his success came well after he turned 50. Like over 90% of his wealth has happened after.
Yeah. It was a very long game.
Yeah. And so like, it's also another case of like,
oh, you'll love this. We did the penny problem in class last night.
The magic penny.
Yeah, so I actually know how that equation works. Yeah, so you go 0.01 times 2 to the x minus 1 power. Yeah. And everybody in the class was like, no, you take the million. And I'm like, don't be a fool. I'm like, if I had a penny for every time I've heard my buddy tell this, and I doubled it every time, I'd have like 5 mil by now. And I even called it out. I'm like, I bet it's a little over 5 mil. And everybody's like, no. But I mean, obviously my math professor is like, oh, he knows. He knows the truth.
Yeah.
And
if it's a 31-day month, it's actually a little over 10 mil.
Yeah, well, it's a 30-day problem. But yeah, the dude behind me was like, no, wait, man, I don't believe that shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, you wanna bet a penny doubling every day for the next 30 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, if only you could get that kind of rate of return.
Well,
what was hard though is figuring out that it was x minus 1. Yeah. That was the part that eluded all of us. We got the penny times 2, and we knew it was to a power. So we thought like that we kept going 2 to the x, but then that doesn't make sense because you don't get the right answer. And it took us like a whole like 10 minutes to figure out that it's only minus 1. Duh, because it's gonna be the next day.
Yep.
Which makes sense once you understand how it works. But yeah, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we put a bunch of time on here.
Sure.
Yeah.
We did.
You wanna call this?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably good.
If you've made it this far, go ahead and throw a like on this. If you're listening to this in audio format, first off, you're a legend. Second off, we'd appreciate it if you threw a review on there because that's what gets us in front of more people. If you are on YouTube, you can like and subscribe if you have not done so already.
Yeah, there might be a button there.
Maybe right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's on you this week, so it's wherever you want it, buddy.
Yeah, it might be. It might be there. I don't know.
But we definitely appreciate you guys like coming out and showing support when you do. It's good and healthy for Brett and I to do this every week. And so we appreciate you guys coming along on this journey with us.
Sure do.
And hopefully you're getting something out of it because, we definitely do. We do have a Discord. Come give us a shout in there. If you just show up, it pings my phone. I'll come say hi. Yeah. I guess other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Good enough.
Well, I love you guys. You have a wonderful week. We're out. Here, let's just cut. Let's. I can do the and away we go, and then you can just cut that right back to the beginning. It'll be fine.